Part 1. The perfect cover, called colleague. There's an ironic truth that we often hear in the office hallways: a workplace affair, if you're clever about it, can be kept a secret for a lifetime. It might sound extreme, but if you really think about it, you'll see that this environment possesses a kind of protective armor that is incredibly strong. And that is the pretext of working at the same company. They can go to lunch together, have coffee alone, call each other late at night, or even text all day. All of it can be explained with one simple phrase: I'm just discussing work. If the wife or husband at home has questions, why is some Sophia woman always calling you at this hour? The answer will always be, oh, that's just Sophia from the editorial team. The project has a tight deadline, so she's just giving me an update. The colleague label turns suspicious behavior into a work responsibility. It's such an easy cover that they could be giving each other a ride. And if they happen to be spotted by an acquaintance, they can still say nonchalantly, we were on our way to a meeting, so I'm just giving her a lift. It's precisely this perfectly legitimate excuse that makes the office environment the most fertile ground for extramarital affairs to blossom. Part 2. Why the workplace? The fire near straw rule. According to statistics from psychologists, over 80% of affairs nowadays originate from the workplace. This number is no coincidence. At its core, an affair is the development of feelings when someone is already married. And for those feelings to grow, it requires interaction, empathy, and a deep connection. And how much time do we spend at the office? At least 8 hours a day. Sometimes even more time than we're actually awake next to our partners. Our ancestors had a saying: if you put fire near straw, eventually it will catch. This isn't just a proverb. It's a precise psychological rule. At first, perhaps no one intends to betray their family. But from seeing each other every day, coming and going, seeing each other when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're tired, feelings just slowly creep in. Let's look at some real life example. 2 factory workers on the same shift. During their downtime, they interact and ask after one another. Oramala chef and a waitress in a small restaurant. They're both far from home, longing for affection, living in an unfamiliar city. That shared circumstance is the most powerful catalyst. They share meals with each other, stories from back home, and gradually that concern for each other crosses the line of being just colleagues. People often say, we're only human, after all. When we're lacking something, it's easy to develop feelings for someone else. Partiga, emotional connection, the enemy of marriage. The workplace isn't just a place where we work. It's also a place where we share a common emotional ecosystem. Just think back for a moment. Aren't your colleagues the first ones to cheer with you when the boss announces a bonus? And aren't they also the very same people you vent with about your frustrations after being criticized by the boss in a meeting? Those are incredibly intense. When 2 people go through a period of great stress together or share in the joy of a victory, they begin to form a special kind of psychological bond. They start to feel that the other person gets them more than their own spouse at home. Meanwhile, the person at home only hears a second-hand version of the story. This shared empathy at work causes the distance between 2 souls to shrink very quickly. They sit together, complain about the boss, SIGH together under the pressure. And then, before they know it, they're leaning on each other for support. Part 4. The image effect and a cruel comparison. There is a painful truth that few people admit. The image we project at the office is always so much better than the one we have at home. At the office, everyone is well put together. The men wear dress shoes, suits, and ties, spraying on fragrant perfume. Women are in beautiful dresses and outfits with lipstick and blush, and a smile always on their lips. At the office, we always maintain our composure, speak gently, politely, and always appear confident and knowledgeable. But what about when we get home? As soon as she steps through the door, the first thing a wife usually does is take off her restrictive dress, wipe off her makeup to reveal a tired, bare face. Then she hurriedly rushes into the kitchen, cleans the house in a wrinkled set of house clothes. As for the husband, once he's home, all he wants is to put on a pair of shorts and a tank top, or even walk around shirtless, letting it all hang out, looking nothing like the suave department head from that morning. Unconsciously, people start to make comparisons. The man looks at his fresh-faced, gentle colleague at the office, and then comes home to his frumpy wife. The woman admires her considerate, galanmale colleague, and then turns to look at her pot-bellied husband lying on the couch watching TV. They forget that that female colleague, when she gets home, also has to wipe off her makeup, and that male colleague also wears shorts and a tank top at home, just like any other man. This skewed comparison is the very crack that allows betrayal to seep in. Part 5. The Agreements. In the Shadows model, people who have affairs at the office, the ones who are smart about it, often have unwritten rules that are quite chilling. They don't want to break up their families. They just want to add, not subtract. They might have an agreement with each other. We just like each other. That's all. We will absolutely not do anything to affect each other's happiness. Okay, they schedule their meetings, usually during business hours, so that after 5 p.m., each of them can return to playing their perfect role for the world. A model husband, a responsible father, a capable wife. Technology even helps them hide things more cleverly in their phone contacts. Sophia might be saved as Mr. Henry and Ms. Luna as college friend. They text using code words with symbols that look innocent to an outsider, but they understand perfectly well that it's a secret code for a date. But life is never as simple as an agreement. Feelings are the most volatile thing of all. At first, they say they won't break up their families, but then greed and selfishness start to surface. There are cases where the other woman gets jealous of the wife and starts sending provocative messages to her, or even stages confrontations to force the man to choose. What started as a casual fling turns into a brutal war. Part 6. The needle in the haystack and the price you pay. The old saying is true. A needle in a bag will eventually poke its way out, no matter how discreet you are. Gestures of affection that go beyond professional courtesy will never escape the eyes of those around you. A stolen glance in the hallway, an overly intimate gesture of putting food on their plate at a company party, or a coincidental absence of you both. All of it gets noticed by your colleagues, and when the affair is exposed, the price to pay is often the complete collapse of your career and reputation. For those in positions of power, they will lose all credibility in front of their staff. For regular employees, they might get fired or be too ashamed to continue working there. Many have to leave town or live with the cold shoulder from their colleagues and family. Not to mention, there are certain people our ancestors warned us to absolutely stay away from: your teacher's child, your friend's wife, and a woman from the office. Getting involved with a colleague is like tying your own hands. It's like planting a ticking time bomb right in the middle of your own future. Part 7. When the storm hits. How to react wisely. If you are unfortunate enough to be the one who discovers that your spouse is having an affair at work, the first and most important thing to do is stay calm. I know it sounds ridiculous, because how can anyone stay calm when they've been betrayed? But remember this: what's done is done. Whether they were together for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, that fact cannot be changed, no matter how much you scream or do something foolish. What's important right now is how you are going to deal with the aftermath for yourself and for your children. Think of your relationship right now like a kettle that's boiling furiously. If you want the water to cool down, you can't just leave it on the stove and blow on it. The only way is to lift that kettle off the stove, which means there needs to be some separation. If you feel your blood pressure, if you can't even stand to look at each other, ask the other person to move out for a while. Or you should be the one to go and get some space. Don't let anger take control and cause you to make rash legal decisions or have an impulsive outburst in the heat of the moment. Don't try to smear their name on social media or go to their workplace to cause a scene, because when you humiliate them, you won't feel any better yourself. People will just say, the wife, husband must have been a certain way for the other one to go and have an affair. Save that last bit of self-respect for yourself and for your children. And especially, absolutely do not drag the children into this. Don't make your children witness the ugliness of their father or mother. That is a psychological scar that will never heal for the rest of their life. Part 8. Reconcile or let go. Infidelity is a gaping wound, and like any wound, it also takes time to heal. If, after everything, you find that the marriage can still be saved, sit down together. Once you've both had a chance to cool down, evaluate the situation. Was it a fleeting crush, or was it a systematic betrayal involving a secret child and separate assets? If you can't continue, then separate on civil terms. Have a proper plan, considering the children's well-being and your finances. Don't let the marriage end with each of you taking a child and walking away, empty-handed, with hearts full of hatred. A workplace affair may begin with sparkling emotions, with perfect facades, but it always ends in terror and belated regret. Hopefully, each one of us, when faced with temptation at our desks, will take a moment to remember the image of our spouse waiting at home with dinner, and remember the price that we might have to pay